You don't really hear about West Nile virus anymore.
Yeah, didn't we like take care of that or whatever?
I don't know. Stop talking about it though. I
That's
have a
all it
theory. If
takes,
you just
really.
stop talking about something, it just goes away.
I mean, we're trying that now. Seems mixed
With what?
results, but coronavirus, for example.
Well, you fucking bring it up, Lee. I just told you. You don't bring it up, it goes away.
You got me to do it. All right, from now on, I won't bring it up anymore.
Won't bring up what?
See, I got you.
Better.
It's all you love and know. It's Cannibal Video.
All right, guys, here to talk about Mosquito Man.
The likes of which our generation has never seen.
2005's Mosquito Man. Lee, had you seen it before?
Absolutely not.
Why would you have? This was a made-for-TV movie, starring the guy from Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and Miss French from that episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer with the she-mantis.
Oh my God! Okay, yeah. So she plays like hot chick in like a ton of things.
Yes.
She's one of the sirens in Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and a few other things like that, where she's like the hot chick.
Yeah.
She has a very exotic,
She's like part
attractive
cat.
look. Yes, exactly. Some women are bunnies, and she's a cat. Yes.
Yeah. Got the going for you. This is a fun movie. So for made for TV,
Yeah.
there's actually a pretty great practical effect in this film.
Exactly.
I think the Mosquito Man himself looks great. There's some sketchy, dodgy bits going from human to mosquito,
Yes.
but they're on frame for like, less than a minute, and everything else you see is like really solid.
I enjoyed this movie a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a good film, but something about it, I think it feels old.
Yes, yeah.
In like a weird way. The director directed The Gate, like in 1987. And if you look up like the writer, the director, the editor, everyone, they're all like fucking old guys that I think he knew. So he was just like, we're gonna make an old movie or something. But it's so weird for it to be 2005 because that was the
it
like.
feels like 95 at the early.
It feels like 10 years off because like the lighting, the look of it, how stuff is shot, and that practical effect where you're like, 2005, it should have been not just, it's all CG, don't worry, just scream and run and we'll add it later. But like there's so much of this suit, right? This the student suit.
It's really like if this was not a made-for-TV movie, this might have been amazing. Like if they could have pushed down a little bit more, put a little bit more into their script there. They had some concepts that are really good. I think this is certainly worth watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's hacky and stuff, but like this is what I envision when someone says, "Oh, it's a fun creature feature sci-fi thing," not the complete shit that we often watch that's in that vein. This I feel like is like a different caliber of like thing, and I'm into this in that way.
So if you've seen this horror movie where a man turns into a mosquito, follow us over to spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, guys, so here we are for the spoilers of Mosquito Man. So I think this is a perfectly serviceable creature feature movie.
100%.
Yeah, I was actually surprised because
This is what I've been hoping for the whole time. And with a title like Mosquito Man, aka Mansquito, literally like that's what I think it is under IMDb. Is Mansquito?
Parker Lewis at one point goes, "Hey, Mansquito!"
Hey! Mansquito!
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which you'd be forgiven for forgetting, but like I had to find that picture on IMDb under this other title where I'm like, holy crap, what's happening? Yeah.
There are some elements in this that I think could have been genius that are not used, and I think I would have tweaked and changed. So I'm gonna start right off from the beginning with how I would have differed how this thing ended. So like there's a part where you see the Mansquito, and he's out there like in the park, and he's surrounded by like a cloud of mosquitoes.
Fine.
Love it.
And I was like, this is great, and that doesn't happen like ever again.
Literally, I was like, is that because he was by a light, or is he the commander of the mosquitoes? Because yes, like that happens really early, and I had the same thought of like, oh, this is because I'm like embracing the shit, so to speak, how we say. So I'm like, oh, he's like the king of the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And
I was picturing through pheromones or something, he can control mosquitoes.
Right.
And because this movie is set up that it's in the midst of a viral outbreak that is being spread by mosquitoes, I'm like, that makes him like 80 times as deadly.
Well, and she's also infected or slowly transforming maybe too. So, well, I'll just say it now. Screw it. For a little while, I thought they were gonna live happily ever after. She was gonna be like, he doesn't want you, he wants me, and he was gonna like fly away with her. It was gonna be an awesome thing.
And then Meet the Applegate starts.
Yes, literally, it's a prequel to me. Yeah, no.
So like that was my first thing where I was like, oh, we need more of that. That has to get played up. That like the fact that he's using this biological entity and maybe he has an advanced case of it because they were trying to cure it. So maybe he's super infected and things can die like quickly, or he can send like a bunch and they can get them all at once.
Or just everyone should be so like scared of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
If he can direct them, there's probably like quarantines and like, oh, there's a mosquito in here. Everyone, everybody on the bus has to go get tested or checked or something, right? It's probably like that. Yeah.
The cover shows like mosquitoes like flying out of his mouth, it looks like. And I'm like, he's like like that thing from The Simpsons where it's like, he's gonna release the dogs or the bees or the dogs that bark and bees shoot out.
I suggest you leave immediately.
Or what? You release the dogs or the bees or the dogs with bees in their mouth, and when they bark, they shoot bees at you?
And I picture him just like, and like a wave of mosquitoes coming out. I'm like, that would be really cool. And then I wanted this to end, so like our lady mosquito woman releases the mosquitoes that are treated with the virus thing that are going to go into the population and decimate it.
I hope you were right, Aaron.
And that does happen, but I wanted, instead of her like bug zappering him to death, I wanted like something to happen with that, like the good mosquitoes fight the bad mosquitoes, and now it drops his whatever, his army is gone. Oh, now he's just a mosquito. We don't have to worry about the plague part of it anymore. We can do this whole business.
So I thought she was gonna end up as one of the like anti-super mosquitoes, and he's just like a like normal bad plague-bearing mosquito, right? And it was gonna be like that, but she doesn't even fully mosquito out. She just becomes. She looks like one of the people from the underworld on Hercules' Legendary Journeys. She just looks
weird pointed nose she had for a little while. I was like,
Did she?
what the fuck? Yeah, they did a thing where like they shrunk the size of her nostrils and extended her nose.
Oh no, I didn't even
like it
notice
was growing into like a mosquito beak or something.
I just noticed that she had like caked on like not like Frankenstein, not the Bride of Frankenstein, but like weird blue green like because for a little while she's transforming, but it's like sexy, and then it becomes like, oh, it's very not sexy anymore, right? Which I like that when that happens, but yeah, there was no flying away together happily ever after.
No.
There was no epic showdown between the pro and anti-human mosquito monster. It was just kind of a lucky shot.
There was kind of a weak showdown where like he's trying to fly with his one mangled wing. Which I'm like, okay, so he's weak in the eyes because he got shot in the eye and his eye went like. His wing got like chopped, so like his eyes and wings clearly vulnerable. Everything else is like tank material.
Yes.
So when he's in a ground zero level explosion that takes out a whole level of like a hospital, you'd think that might damage his wings or his eyes. His eyes are fucking 8 parts of his head. There's no closing. They don't blink. They're mosquitoes.
They don't show that, but no, he squinted, and that's why he got out of that alive. No,
I didn't like that.
I thought it was hilarious when he finally pops his eye, because I feel like, it's confusing to look at, but I think someone should have randomly hit it in the head by then.
Yeah, how many bullets were coming at him? I know.
Yeah. There was a whole SWAT team that he easily dispatches and stuff.
Yeah, that SWAT team was a joke.
I know. I'm on board with like most of all this stuff though. I'm like down.
I liked the things I looked at. I didn't like though. So he dies from an electrocution, which we can see that he conducts electricity because her holding its leg and shocking him made her get shocked.
Yeah.
Yet moments earlier, Parker Lewis jumps on his back and is tasing his body, but he doesn't get shocked at all. And I know it's a weaker taser, but that's not how tasers work.
No, the taser protocol, is to be clear of them, right? There's like a thing like that.
Well, if anyone's ever like had a dog training collar, you'd be like, oh, let me grab that and touch. You can shock your friends. Like anything that completes the circuit gets shocked.
Okay, yes, I had the same thought, but I figured it's just a goofy mistake. It does not matter.
It would have, and I would have written it off as a goofy mistake if a moment later they didn't prove that it works that way.
Yeah.
It was just so foolish and weird.
Yeah, it's kind of a letdown of a finale because you're not sure what's going to happen, and there's not really a lot of science involved as we're talking about.
Almost
right?
none.
Yeah.
But the movie like starts off in this super weird way where it's a gentleman who are Parker Lewis put away, and he's now on death row, and he gets like purchased, I guess, by like a pharmaceutical company to do drug trial on.
By the most ice water in his veins. Like, are you saying you're testing on humans? And he's like, yes.
What, are you saying that you're experimenting on convicts?
To put it bluntly, yes. In exchange for a reduced sentence, the subjects waive certain rights.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you.
I blame you
course.
for this, even though
Oh,
I
yeah.
brought in the criminal.
This is your fault. Why'd you open the door? He had a gun.
It was you who let him in after all.
He had a gun to her head. What was I supposed to do? He killed her, Aaron.
So it wouldn't have mattered.
Didn't matter, did it?
Yeah.
Man,
Well, it didn't.
he's such a shithead. And I like that he died.
Yes.
Because he dies brutally to the
A
mosquito.
lot of people die really, like, there's a hell of a body count in this movie.
True.
And even if you just think about the randos, so like, it kills like this doctor who wronged him. Somehow, really it wronged his lady, and he kind of got him. But like he kills his ex-girlfriend. He kills all these people, and then like he's at a bar. Like it seems like he's just arbitrarily killing people, but there's not necessarily a pattern.
And he's fully transformed pretty quickly. He kills his
He
girl.
got a major dose of that
Yes.
stuff, and the radiation hit him like directly.
Yes, but he's not a character anymore after he transforms.
Yes.
So he kills his girlfriend, but there's no scene of like, what have I done? I'm a monster.
no.
Like, no, he's just now a quote-unquote monster. So yeah, it's even weird that he kills the scientist, because that feels calculated. Like, you're being rude to my future mate. Like I don't see how he's making those calculations
No,
at
and
that
even
point,
the killing of his girlfriend thing, like she seemed like the most understanding like hooker I think she was like there ever was, because she like her apartment door is open. She's like, "Hello, who's in there?" It's completely destroyed. He's destroyed everything in her apartment. Then she sees him like the mangled mess he is, and goes like I don't know if his name was like John
buddy?
or something,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Bill, is that you?"
Ray? Oh my god. Did you break out of jail?
What they
Like,
do to
what?
you? And yeah, he looks like he has like radiation burns. Like he looks horrible.
And one of his hands is like, you know, a scything talon.
yeah.
Oh God! And that effect, like when it first, like there's like a two-part thing here of ridiculousness. Like when his hand transforms, you're like, "What the fuck am I looking at?" And then when his face and then the whole body instantly transforms, are not good. But
No, it's
everything
bad.
else is really good.
No, they do a really good job, and like his face splits, like the jaw splits, and then at the end of the movie, you know, still the mosquito has these 2 or 3 goofy human-like front teeth, which I thought like, okay, I love this. I loved the design. Like the eye that explodes looks different than the other eye, and I feel like that was maybe for that reason. But I still love how he was like asymmetrical and humpy and weird. Because sometimes when it's like, oh, he's an abomination. He's a thing that should never exist. But it looks like a super cool, awesome alien species where you're like, that might be a good deal. I could be a mosquito man. But now this is like the Fly, where it's like he's this mess of like a monstrous thing.
It took so long for him to get his wings, and I was like, how is he getting around? Was he walking this whole time? And he's like crawling on
bus.
He's like crawling on the walls and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if he could do that. A lot of things are interesting about this where I'm like, yes, mosquitoes, they're known for their tanky armor.
Yes.
And like the fact that he's so big and the wings didn't really get big, I was like, that's a mistake, because mosquitoes' wings are fairly large for their bodies.
Yeah, and like, even I think a bug the size of a man couldn't fly anyway. It has to do with surface area and weight and volume and all that stuff.
I have a lot of allotments for like plausible deniability when it comes into like radiation and bullshit and this and that. I'm like, no, like if he can stop a bullet, I'm like presumably he's very strong.
No, that's why I'm like, he's not really a mosquito.
No,
he's some twisted creature of a thing. He's got the thing though, the sucker.
Proboscis.
I'm thinking of meniscus, so I can't say the word, but you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, it interested me a lot too, where I was like, I don't know enough about mosquitoes potentially, so I know mosquitoes drink blood. That's my extent of mosquito knowledge. That's what I know. I'm like, do mosquitoes sniff flowers?
It's the 3rd time you've smelled those.
They just smell so beautiful.
No idea. Do they like sweets? No idea. But
Listen,
bugs do, and I know the writer might not know anything about these things.
This whole thing is crazy. So like the whole movie is like the bookends are like the cop being like, I can't believe this case was so crazy, and it's just typing his report. That's all hack. That's all crazy. Within the story though, the whole thing is his girlfriend is transforming. She works at the lab, and he's the cop that got called in, and the prisoner's the guy he put away. It's like so hack. It's so funny. It's so standard, right?
It's TV movie.
It's but there's a certain art to doing everything that way, where something happens and you go, of course, because of course, right? But yes, she's transforming, so she's acting out. She like licks the blood that spills out of like a blood pack, and yes, fascinated with smelling things and eating sweet food. It's such a strange character thing to put in there. And he's like, "You okay, babe? You're having like chocolate and Coke now, and earlier you were freaking out about flowers. Like, what's happening?"
Sugar in your coffee. And now chocolate and soda. You okay?
What do you mean?
He's like, oh dear, you don't understand what I'm talking about.
But she like changed fundamentally, because like if you watch the first like half of the movie before she's like starting to turn the mosquito, they don't even kiss on the lips. Like they just like, oh, I don't touch you relationship, it seemed. And then she's like, I'm a sexy mosquito now.
Well, there is something.
I'm all about it.
That's what I'm talking about. When she scratches his chest and is like sucking his blood out of his chest, and he's like, honey, my phone, please, whatever. I'm like, she is attacked. And then they like kiss multiple times, and then as soon as he leaves, she runs to the bathroom and is spitting up the blood. I'm like, this is very kinky. I like this a lot. Yeah. But like,
there's a weird moment where like a blood pack breaks, and she's like,
where she
wait, what just happened? Like catches herself in that shit. And I was like, that was weird.
Her eyes start to change, starts to like slowly do a thing or whatever. In the finale, she does like a monster scream to like get the mosquito's attention. Like
like a sonic scream.
And like that's when she has like the full makeup on and stuff. But she never gets much beyond that. There's like a writhing around scene earlier where she's starting, where you're like, oh, is she gonna transform? Like her arm is all
You think wings
weird.
are gonna come out or something. Her back starts to like do some stuff. She has a couple hairs on her arm where the thing happened.
I thought she might be like the sexy lady mosquito person, and then she'll save the day, or he'll be like, you are my sexy lady mosquito monster bride, and then we'll go away together. But none of those things happen.
No. There's a part with the like the doctor that owns the facility or runs the facility or whatever, and he's like, go back to working on your cure. People are dying, and
That's
I'm like,
one of my favorite things.
what does that even mean? People are dying.
He
People
says-
are dying.
Yeah, he said.
Don't you have work to do? Because you're so keen on reminding me people out there are dying. Go save the masses.
Says, oh, I'm blah blah blah, as you keep telling me. He's like drunk and blaming everything on her, and like air quotes, dying. Like it's great, because then he dies and you're like, of course he should die, of course.
It felt very timely.
Yes.
With how things are now, especially like the movie opens up with like hospital beds are full, and like 100,000 infected, this and that, blah blah blah.
Those most at risk of the new virus are demanding treatments, while officials are saying the hospitals simply have no room.
Dying, and I'm like, oh my god, are you? What are you?
Like, so this is like it's like the plot of Mimic, if you recall.
Yeah.
Right? Where like oh, there's bad bugs causing disease. We need super bugs. Let's engineer them. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
But I like this better because instead of it being a problem later after you've released the bugs, the problem happens before, and releasing the bugs potentially either for a sequel is bad, but for this movie seems like it's a good thing. We release the bugs. We have to bioengineer creatures and introduce them into the wild, because that always goes so well whenever we do anything like that in the whole thing. But no, like in both cases, the whole like the fake newsreel footage of like the quarantine, hospital beds are full.
Every bed is full, and they're doing all they can.
All 50 states are affected.
Are now.
And like there's like a thing at one point about how many are dead, or how many, or like West Nile has killed thousands. This could be hundreds of times worse. And I was just like, oh, could you imagine if hundreds of thousands of people died in America? That's crazy. That would never happen. Oh, this is so scary and theoretical.
This virus will make West Nile seem like the common cold.
The disease affects both young and old.
Well, potentially, that could have been a little worse, because I think it was like 3,800 dead, and it could be 100 times worse, and we're not there yet, but we're catching up to these mosquitoes.
We're getting there.
At its worst, the West Nile virus was responsible for a few hundred deaths per summer. But the Guinin virus stands to kill more than 1,000 times that number.
I couldn't shake from my head, though, like she plays the she-mantis in Buffy, and I'm like, this lady only plays bugs. Like,
exactly.
That's her thing.
That's her bug connection.
can I be a large bug? No? What did I tell you talking to her manager? I get me someone that will give me a giant bug part.
I need to be the wasp in like the wasp lady thing with the royal jelly thing or whatever. She wasn't that person. No, that's which came first, Buffy, right?
Buffy or this?
Yeah.
This is 2005, so Buffy for sure.
Yeah. So maybe someone saw that episode and said, she's perfect. She can be she plays a mean bug.
The meanest.
He's here!
That guy was clearly a physical specimen, that prisoner dude. He like Spider-Man jumps from like the second floor, does like a diving roll, catches the she-mantis by her fucking head. He's like, ah!
Before she's any sort of...
Yeah, before anything has happened,
and he's normal too. Yeah, he was great, yeah.
Yeah. It did feel very B-movie-ish, all that, but I was like, oh, that was kind of impressive. This facility they have is very strange with this tent inside and weird stuff.
And like all the guards flooding out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
But like that, so like that's bad, I know that, but there's like a line that happens where like here it's like, yeah, the hallways are really bare and they're not lived in and there's no dressing and it's just dudes with like, I'm a guard and pew, 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 and it's just very shitty, but it still feels like a movie.
Yeah.
Like certain B-movies do stuff where you're like, there's not even...
They're not even all wearing the same uniform.
Right, like there's not even, like enough here for me to feel like it's a movie, right? But here, like they actually took all the time and filmed all the cuts and all the things. And like it's a long scene. They go from the lobby up the thing, there's more guards come out, he's like shooting, there's dialogue, there's like, squibs exploding on the wall. Like it's like a real thing. I'm like, I just appreciate this.
And they repeat that almost like that very similar shot when they're in the hospital. It's like, yes, nameless, faceless death guards.
Yes.
And there's some pretty good kill scenes too. There's one where he like with his talon thing swaps a guy like right across his head and like cuts it in half. You're like, oh shit.
And you see the corpse with like the head missing piece. Yeah, exactly. And those are like a wave of like rent-a-cops that come in after the SWAT, and there's another wave, and then our Parker Lewis comes in with like the shotgun and like the coat, and he's all like, I'll handle this. This like Robert Patrick looking motherfucker is gonna like do it all himself, and he does, because he got the good gun, because he was like, make the call. We need armor-piercing rounds, and everyone's like, oh, he's gone crazy, it's finally happened. But he's right, it's great. It's so shitty, it's so good.
All right, I want SWAT here in 10 minutes. You got that? 10 minutes? Or sooner. And you make sure they bring enough AP rounds for everybody here. Armor piercing? Just do it.
He yells at a lady when he's going. He's like, call the hospital. Tell them I'm coming.
Call St. John's. Tell them I'm on my way.
And like she doesn't know anything of the situation at all. Who are you? What do you mean? I just picture that phone call like, hello? He's coming.
He's coming?
You know as much as I do now.
Yeah, I don't know if he wanted you to wait or like get started or be aware. I don't know.
Not sure at all.
Yes.
The idea that he survived that explosion in the hospital, ridiculous.
Same thing too. They're like, we got a live one here, and he like gets fished out, and he's like, I got it. Leave me alone. Where's Jennifer? And like, who? Like, I'm
the only girl that's alive.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Oh.
Everyone in the hospital dies. Like everyone in the hospital.
Right.
His like best friend / partner dead.
That's another amazing thing. This had to be made by old guys, because that's literally like he's the like prototypical Robert Patrick cop looking guy. His sidekick is like leather jacket, badge on the thing around his neck, like the long hair.
Yeah.
He's like the wisecrack cop, like whatever, with the heart of gold. They find the first, they find Mosquito Man's girlfriend. He's like, seems like she's a few pints low.
Tom, take a look at this. Looks like she's a couple of pints low.
And he's doing all his dumb. I'm like, oh, this is so good. This is so.
I love those assessments.
Yeah.
What do you mean? How do you know she's low on blood? Like,
she's colored. She's like discolored.
Yeah. So do dead people. I have it on good authority that your tongue turns black when you die.
I think a cop would know that. He's seen more dead people than both of us put together.
Maybe you.
Look, this guy Ray, he killed 12 people before we finally caught him. All right, so I just want you to keep that in mind.
There's a shot where they're in the police station, and you can see like the board behind them with like the cases and whatever.
Yeah.
And this is early on in the movie where like there's not been a ton of things, and there's like a mummy on the board.
We gotta find something, man. We gotta find it fast.
Ooh.
Like 2 pictures of like a mummified dead person. And I was like, what the hell is that? What kind of cases are they facing here?
The X-Files. Yes.
Seemingly.
Could you imagine? Yes.
That goop from the body has the lab stumped. They're sending it to the federal lab.
Need that information now, Charlie.
I know. I'll stay on it.
Equally as dumb is when like they're in the subway area, which didn't even look like a subway. It looked like just like a tunnel.
That's a cheaper one.
But they're in this tunnel, and he's like, "All right, give me your flashlight. I'm gonna go that way. You want backup?" He's like, "No." He's like, "You go call and make sure that test gets done."
Let me take a look.
Well, wait. You want some backup?
No, I want you to find out why I don't have those lab reports yet.
Yeah.
And I'm just in my head like, do you want backup? No, this guy who's killed 100 people now is in that dark area. I'm going to go with a flashlight and no backup. See you. Like, what?
He's somehow draining people's blood and fluids or whatever, but it looks like you need to fix your paperwork, buddy.
Guess you get the night off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want backup? I want every one of you motherfuckers in a line.
No, but that's the like maverick, I'll handle this cop guy tucking in his shirt and like being all whatever. Yeah.
That's that maverick used to be on a kid's show, tough guy, you know.
No,
he's like a string bean looking guy. He's not like this tough alpha cop.
No, but he's playing this role, I think, like perfectly. All of his reactions, all of his like delivery.
Yeah, no, he was good in
like,
this.
Oh my god, I don't even know if he's good, but it just like fit perfect. He never cracked, he never broke anything for me. Where I was just like, he's that guy. He's gonna go handle it. Like it's so ridiculous that it's so genre specific. But yeah, we got this whole scene where he's like got his little flashlight and then like sees the monster, and there's no like obscuring lighting or like, oh, we don't quite see it yet because we as as the audience have seen it, but he just gets to see all of it and shoot all of it. And then the guy just knocks him over and runs away.
He gets into a fist fight with it.
Yeah.
And like how he even walks away is ridiculous because this guy has one shot killed everything he's faced up until this point. And this guy, he lives.
No, Mosquito Man has hacks on. Every shot's a like critical strike or something.
Pretty much.
Because he has had no opposition whatsoever. I think ever in this whole time.
No, because the idea that like he has these like pretty much machetes for hands,
Yeah.
a spear for a face, and he's made of tank material.
Yeah.
What could step to him? Nothing. Except for Parker Lewis. Make the call, Johnny. Make the call.
Yeah.
Make the call, Charlie.
I'm on it.
Make the call.
It almost reminds me of So I Married an Axe Murderer when they have to like pretend when he's like, nah, you're supposed to like chew me out. Like, come on. It's like that.
Good for you. That was so much better. Yeah, you really terrific. It was fantastic.
The beginning felt pretty good.
Yeah, it was great.
Like it feels like a fake cop thing because of how it's delivered.
Yes.
But it's played completely straight, and there's never even a hint of irony or anything like that. That's the so bad it's good. That's like the essence of it for me, at least, where it's like this feels totally real, but it's ridiculous and cliche and wall to wall, just dumb.
He takes off at night in his like unmarked car with like one of those like blue top like light things, but like doesn't remove it from the inside of the car and put it on the top of the car. It's just sitting in the center console of the car,
doing its thing
on. And I'm like, how that thing works is it circles. So every like 10 seconds he's blinding himself while driving at night, and I'm like, that's what every cop would do.
How do you do it?
Not like that.
That's why you're not gonna make detective, Stefan. That's why you're stuck working the beat.
Wouldn't wanna. I'm Flatfoot.
I'm from the streets. I'm old school. I want to be up there pushing pencils, riding a desk with you.
He wants to mate Tom. That's why he's looking for me.
I'll say like thug / homeless guy like rolls up on Mosquito Man while he's in the park. Hey, you can't be here unless you're one of us. Whoa!
Oh shit!
Yo, sucker. Park's closed after dark unless you want to. Whoa! Oh!
Yeah, and he runs, gets all his friends killed.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Reminded me of LP from Run the Jewels. He was like, and like ran. He just runs away from the guy, which is like the proper reaction, you know. That's a cool scene, honestly, where she's like, "Don't you smell that bad thing?" And I don't know if she notices Mosquito Man yet.
Did she say it was bad? Or,
yeah.
Like, do you smell that? I thought I couldn't tell what it was. I
like
assumed it was like that that horny smell.
Yeah, like a sexual musk is happening.
Yeah.
She was making a face like I smell something bad, but she was kind of doing that for half the movie, so I don't know.
What is that?
What?
Can't you smell it?
I don't think she's a very good actress, honestly. Her delivery, I don't know if English is her first language. But
none of them were really killing it for me, but they worked for the movie.
Yes, I just feel like she was doing a lot, and it was good, but I don't think she could have carried it. I think we needed Parker Lewis, to be like the core around which the whole thing goes, right? But
she didn't strike me as this super scientist character, and they really didn't have her playing up the like oh, I'm just the dumb attractive lady thing. She rode this middle, which can be a dangerous territory.
And the dialogue with her and her lab assistant, I assume in the beginning, it just sounds like two models pretending to do science talk in it's like the Tara Reid, oh, the cellular bonds are breaking down. You're like, bitch, you don't know what the fuck is. Yeah, it was like that type of thing.
We use the larva as a control group to verify our results, to see if the irradiation has done its job.
There's a part where he tasers the mosquito and the mosquito throws him, and he does a gymnastics flip, not look at me doing my flip. He is thrown so hard that his body's like it flips end over end multiple times. That whatever that stunt guy, he got overtime pay for that shit because he did 3 rotations, I want to say.
There are stunt guys. That's what's
there
cool
have to
about
be.
this. No, sure. I know, but I'm saying, this is a real movie. It's crazy to me.
Oh yeah, definitely a real movie. Stuff. The costume alone really sells it as if you could cut a trailer to this, that would make people want to watch it just based on how good that creature looks.
Is this a well-received movie? Do you know? I don't think I looked
it had a bit of a culty classic. I remember this DVD not being the easiest to find when I got it. It's been now a number of years, so it's probably easier now. Something that I just hit me, I can't not bring up, is I love the wide shots when the mosquito walks. So I have a theory that the mosquito is not a big effect. It's like a person just in an upper body suit. Because whenever it goes to the full body, it kind of floats along.
Yes.
Either they're compositing it or they're literally just dripping something around.
So there's CG happening when he's walking sometimes. There's also
the
a
legs
shot.
are so tiny.
There's also a shot in the hospital where he's behind the glass and the rent-a-cop looking dudes are shooting the glass out. Where it seems like he's on a sled being pushed. Where he's not walking. So I agree. I think what's happening is that the suit is not a suit. It's a thing that someone's piloting, but it's rooted to the ground. It's too heavy, or it's too much, or the ass rests on the ground.
Yeah, it's possible.
And you can't really walk in it really or something. Because yes, the wall, all of the good shots are that close up, waist up kind of, and stuff's happening like this, but you're not seeing it run or move or do anything, right? She tackles it at one point, but I feel like that is also CG'd in half whatever and stuff. So yeah. There's something going on. I agree.
One of his hands is not a full talon; it's a hand talon. Yeah. And I'm like, well, that must be because he has to open doors and do things.
Exactly.
It's just normal. This guy's gonna have to pee at some point.
Has to enter the combination on the thing or something. Yes. No. One the first hand that transforms loses fingers and becomes the big talon thing. But the other one, is not a human hand. But more
it looks almost
hand.
like how a bat in the middle of its wing has a hand, like that, but for a talon.
Right. I love the asymmetry, though. I love that he's not just a real animal. He's this twisted monstrosity that doesn't, does not line up properly. He should be. He was created by a radiation explosion.
Yeah. How do you like them stationing the cop? So there's one cop when the girlfriend is in the hospital. One's right outside her door, and that one makes sense. And there's one just on the ground in a car, and that doesn't make any sense to me at all. I'm like, it's not a guy's gonna roll up in a car. It's a mosquito.
Oh, the guy outside. Do they believe that it's a mosquito man at that point?
At that point, I'm pretty sure he's 100% positive it's a mosquito. I think so.
No. Parker Lewis knows for a long time. But
you bring up a great point that no one would ever believe this. So when the SWAT team comes in and some rent-a-cop's you don't know what you're dealing with. I'm like, literally, they have no idea what they're dealing with.
Yeah. Just wait out. I'm a cop, okay? You need to let us do our job, sir. You don't know what you're up against. Just wait here.
When they see the mosquito, that's the first time they even know what it is. No one said oh, it's a guy with a gun. Oh, it's a chef. He's gone crazy with his knife. It's a mosquito. Like, you'd be walking in totally blind.
No, he has a look on his face like, what? So even if he was briefed, though, like, oh, there's a crazy detective, somebody wearing armor or something, I don't know what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's still shocked at, like, whatever
As you should be.
Whatever he was told, what he's seeing now is, like, blowing his freaking mind. And yes, as it should.
Large mosquitoes, you picture maybe like a foot.
Yeah, right? Like, what, like twice as big? I'm not scared.
Oh, he's like Alaska mosquitoes? Oh, deadly. Size of hummingbirds?
Oh.
I said we need more paramedics.
Are you okay? We gotta get you some help.
Get out! Get out! Out!
Okay, so I checked. This film is a like mid-20s audience review on Rotten Tomatoes. Not critically reviewed.
I was
on
gonna say, no
Rotten
critic has
Tomatoes.
seen this.
Not applicable, right? On a $5 million budget TV movie, right? How does this stack up for you? You are the creature feature connoisseur.
I'd say this is a fun movie. It's not great. It's all depends on how you're rating. If you're rating on the visuals of like how the effect looks, I think that's very strong. It's a cool look. I am very interested. You could show me a picture of it. I'd want to watch this movie. Do I think inside the movie the plot was very good and how things go? Not terribly, but I think that like. The amount of people and kills and this and that, like, definitely elevate this. I'd say I'd give it like a 5.
Have you had more fun with a movie where the creature was maybe CG and bad and worse? Is that what you're saying, or?
I think it's that you did not get brought a lot to the table from the people in the movie. So sometimes like a wacky, zany, bad actor, over-the-top actor, or just good actor can really elevate a project. And these guys were kind of just serviceable. Where it's like, oh, I know them, but they don't have the recognition where I'm like, oh man, I can't believe blah blah in this movie. Is that Carlton? Like,
yeah, you're not
there's
like
nothing like
Paul
that.
Walker. Yeah,
No.
Exactly. Okay. I think I can agree with that because it feels like we said, or like I said, like it's an older movie.
Yeah.
In a weird way, and like a boring, serviceable cop movie into which you've injected, pun intended, this Mosquito Man, right?
Yeah.
But that does it for me. I'm like on board.
For sure.
I enjoyed this movie.
Oh
so,
yeah, I would recommend. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
Check it out, guys. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
He's more mosquito than man by now.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinion